Okay, Alex, I want you to think about a place that smells like motor oil, features at least one person speaking in a language that sounds like pure gibberish, and where you are almost guaranteed to spend way more money than you planned.
Oh, wow. That is a very specific and stressful description. But I know exactly where you're talking about. The auto repair shop. The mechanic.
The mechanic? Yes! Specifically, trying to explain a weird noise your car is making, and then trying to understand the diagnosis in a second language.
Oh, that is a special kind of nightmare. On a scale of 1 to 10, my anxiety when I have to take my car to the shop is easily a 9. Maybe a 10 if the check engine light is on, and I have no idea what it means.
A 10? That is incredibly high. You are an intelligent, capable adult. You manage complex software projects. But a guy with a wrench and a greasy rag makes you want to just sell your car and start walking everywhere?
It is not just the wrench, Sophia. It is the complete lack of control. In my native language, I know the basics. I know what an oil change is. I know what a tire is. But in English, the vocabulary is full of slang and idioms that make zero sense if you translate them literally.
I completely understand that. Going to the mechanic is stressful even for native speakers. There is the fear of being ripped off, the confusing estimates, and the feeling that they know something you do not.
Exactly. And there is this unspoken pressure to just nod and agree, because you do not want to look like you know nothing about cars. I had a terrible experience with this a couple of years ago.
Oh, I can hear the trauma in your voice. Do not hold out on me. Tell me the story?
I was hoping we would skip this part, but I know the rules of this podcast. Okay, fine. It was about 2 years ago. My car, a very reliable but aging sedan, started making a horrible noise when I pressed the brake pedal. It sounded like metal grinding on metal.
Ouch! That is never a good sound.
No, it is not. So, I took it to a local repair shop. The mechanic, a very friendly, older guy named Mike, took it for a quick test drive. He came back, wiped his hands on a rag, and looked at me very seriously.
The classic mechanic stare?
Yes. He said, "Well, Alex, I have some bad news. Your brakes are completely shot, and your front tires are bald. You're going to need a new set of both, and it is going to cost you a pretty penny."
Okay. Shot. Bald. And a pretty penny? That is a triple idiomatic threat right there.
Yes, and my brain just circuited. I knew the word shot. I knew the word bald. But in that moment of high stress, my logical brain tried to translate them literally. I looked at Mike, completely panicked, and I said, "Shot? Who shot my brakes? Was there an accident? And why are my tires bald? Do they need shampoo?"
Do they need shampoo?
Yes.
Alex? No.
I said it with total, sincere concern. Do the tires need a special shampoo for bald tires?
I am losing my mind. I am actually crying. What did Mike's face do?
He stopped wiping his hands. He stared at me. He looked at the car, then back at my face. And he said, very slowly, "Alex, no one shot your brakes. Shot means they are ruined, worn out. And bald tires means the rubber tread is gone. They do not have hair.
Wiping away tears. Oh, Alex, that is incredible.
I was so confused for a split second. And then the realization hit me like a truck. Shot means destroyed. Bald means smooth. With no grip, I wanted the garage floor to open up and swallow me whole. I just mumbled, "Ah, yes. Ruined. No hair. I understand."
I cannot breathe. No hair. You were worried about the hair care routine of your car's tires?
I did. I spent the next hour in the waiting room, staring at a vending machine, convinced that Mike was telling all his coworkers about the guy who wanted to shampoo his tires.
Okay. First of all, that is a hilarious story. Second of all, I promise you, Mike probably forgot about it by lunchtime. Mechanics hear weird things every single day. You are just a drop in the ocean of auto shop weirdness.
Logically, I know that. But in the moment, you feel so foolish. You are an adult, but you feel like a child who does not understand the basic rules of vehicle maintenance.
I hear you. It is that gap between your actual intelligence and your ability to decode specific, everyday jargon when you are under pressure. But let's look at what actually happened. You got your brakes fixed. Your tires were replaced. And you drove away safely? That is a huge win. Even if the vocabulary tripped you up.
I suppose so, but it made me realize how much specific vocabulary is tied to car repair.
That is so true. And it highlights a really important point for our listeners. When we are put on the spot in a second language, especially in a formal or technical environment, our brains default to literal translations. We panic. And we grab the first definitions of the words we know.
Exactly. So, please, Sophia, give me the toolkit. How do I navigate the auto shop without sounding like I'm planning a veterinary visit for my tires?
Okay, let's demystify this. The most common B1, B2 auto repair phrases are actually quite logical once you know the context. Let's start with the one that caused the trauma, shot.
It means completely ruined, broken, or worn out. Got it. No firearms involved.
Exactly. You can say, my alternator is shot, or the transmission is shot. Now, what about bald?
I know this one now. It means the tire has no tread left, so it is smooth and dangerous, especially in the rain.
Perfect. And instead of shampoo, you would talk about the tread depth. Another huge one is a pretty penny.
Ah, yes. It will cost you a pretty penny. I always thought it meant it would cost a beautiful amount of money. Like a discount.
Laughs, I wish. No. A pretty penny is an old idiom that means a large amount of money. It is expensive. So if Mike says, it will cost a pretty penny, he means, get your wallet ready. This is going to be expensive.
Get your wallet ready. That is a much clearer translation. What about when they say my car needs a tune? Up.
A tune. Up is a routine maintenance service. It usually includes changing the spark plugs, checking the fluids, and making sure the engine is running smoothly. It is like a general health checkup for your car.
A health checkup. I like that. It makes sense. What about when they say they need to look under the hood?
The hood is the metal cover over the engine. So, looking under the hood literally means opening the front of the car to inspect the engine. But it is also used metaphorically in business to mean looking at the details of a project.
Looking under the hood. That is a great phrase. I can use that at work. Let me look under the hood of this code.
Exactly. See? You are already applying it. Now, let's talk about the actual interaction at the shop. Because the most dangerous part is not the vocabulary. It is the estimate.
Oh, the estimate. The piece of paper that tells you how much of your life savings you are about to lose.
Yes, and many people just sign it without asking questions because they feel intimidated. But you have every right to ask for clarification.
But how do I ask without sounding like I do not trust them? I do not want to be the difficult customer.
You use what I call the polite clarification technique. You do not say, "I do not believe this price." Instead, you say, "Could you walk me through this estimate? I want to make sure I understand what is absolutely necessary right now. And what can wait?"
What is absolutely necessary right now? And what can wait? That is brilliant. It shows I am listening. I am responsible. And I am managing my budget without being accusatory.
Exactly. It is a very mature, professional way to handle a large expense. Another great phrase is this covered under my warranty? Or, do you offer any warranty on this repair?
Warranty. I know this word. It means a guarantee that the repair will last.
Yes? And if the price is truly too high, you can always say, "Thank you for the estimate. I need to think about it and maybe get a second opinion."
Get a second opinion. That is a great medical phrase that works perfectly for cars too.
It really does. Now, since we are on the topic of auto repair and the pressure of the service desk, I want to try something with you. A little role play.
Oh no. I knew this was coming. My imaginary check engine light is already flashing.
It will be fun. I promise. And it is great practice. I am going to be Mike, the friendly but busy mechanic. You are going to ask for an explanation of the estimate, prioritize the repairs, and ask about the warranty. You are going to stay calm. And no mentions of tire shampoo. Ready?
Okay. I am ready. No hair care products. Just a normal, responsible car owner.
Perfect. Shifts posture. Adopts a casual, slightly greasy, friendly voice. Mouth Mars. All right, Alex. I took a look. Your brakes are shot, and those front tires are bald. I wrote up an estimate for you. It is going to be about $800.
Clears throat. Speaks calmly and politely. Thank you, Mike. Could you walk me through this estimate? I want to make sure I understand what is absolutely necessary right now. And what can wait?
Well, the brakes are a safety issue, so those need to be done today. The tires are getting low, but they have a little tread left. You could probably wait another month or two on those if you are on a tight budget.
That makes sense. I will go ahead with the brakes today. And do you offer any warranty on the brake repair?
Breaks character. Smiling widely. Oh, Alex, that was absolutely flawless.
Really? It felt a little bit formal, but I was trying to be clear.
It was perfect. You acknowledged the estimate. You asked for a prioritized breakdown. What is absolutely necessary? And you professionally inquired about the warranty? You sounded like a highly competent, savvy consumer.
It feels much safer to have a script like that. When I'm nervous, I either explain, I do not have much money. Please be cheap. Or I just sign the paper and cry inside.
And both of those extremes are problematic. Over explaining makes you seem vulnerable to being upsold. And just signing means you might pay for things you do not need. The clear, direct approach keeps you perfectly in the middle.
I am definitely writing what is absolutely necessary right now on a sticky note for my glove compartment. But Sophia, I have to be honest. All of this auto shop anxiety, it is deeply tied to a feeling of being taken advantage of.
I hear you. Say more about that.
Well, when you do not know much about cars, and you do not speak the language perfectly, you feel like an easy target. You think, they can tell me anything, and I will just nod and pay, because I do not know how to prove them wrong. It feels incredibly vulnerable.
That is such a profound and valid feeling. The power dynamic in a repair shop is inherently skewed. The mechanic has the expertise, the tools, and the jargon. You just have your wallet and your anxiety.
Exactly. You feel like you are at their mercy.
But Alex, I want to reframe this for you. A good, reputable mechanic does not want to take advantage of you. They want to build a long-term relationship with a loyal customer. And the fact that you are asking clear, polite questions shows that you are an informed consumer, not an easy target.
That is a really nice way to look at it. I usually just assume they are all trying to scam me.
Some might be, but most are just trying to do their job. And by learning this vocabulary, you are taking back your power. You are no longer the confused guy asking for tire shampoo. You are the guy who knows what tread depth and warranty mean.
Taking back my power. I like that. It makes me feel like I'm not just a victim of the check engine light.
Exactly. And honestly, the fact that you care enough to learn this shows what a responsible person you are. A truly careless person would just ignore the grinding noise until the car literally stopped moving.
I suppose so. I just need to remember that my worth is not determined by my ability to rebuild an engine.
Exactly. Your worth is determined by the fact that you keep trying. You keep putting yourself out there, even when it is uncomfortable, and that is incredibly brave. Now, since we are on the topic of car trouble and advocating for yourself, I want to do a quick rapid fire scenario game. Auto Shop Edition. I will give you a situation, and you give me your immediate, natural response. No overthinking.
Okay. My brakes are fixed. My tires have plenty of hair. And I am ready. Hit me.
Scenario 1. Your car will not start in the morning. You call a friend for help.
I would say, hey, My car won't start. I think the battery is dead. Do you have jumper cables so you can give me a jump start?
Perfect. Natural. Uses the correct terminology, jumper cables, jump start, and gets straight to the point. Scenario 2. You're driving, and you smell something burning?
I would say, I smell something burning. I'm going to pull over safely and check under the hood.
Excellent. Pull over safely and check under the hood are perfect. Natural phrases. Scenario 3. The mechanic tells you the repair will take 3 days, but you need the car tomorrow.
I would say, is there any way to expedite this? I really need the car by tomorrow. If not, do you have a loaner vehicle or a shuttle service?
Yes, flawless. Expedite. Loaner vehicle and shuttle service are exactly the right B2 terms to use in that situation. Scenario 4. You pick up your car, and the check engine light is still on.
I would say, excuse me, I noticed the check engine light is still on. Could you take a look and make sure everything is okay before I drive home?
Gasps Alex. That is a perfect, emotionally intelligent, and highly practical response. You noticed the issue. You remained polite. And you asked for a final verification before leaving the shop. That is C1 level consumer advocacy right there.
Really? I just used the phrases you gave me.
And you used them perfectly in context. That is how language acquisition works. You hear it. You understand it. And then you make it your own. You should be very proud of that.
I am. I am definitely writing loaner vehicle on my imaginary mechanic receipt.
Please do. And you know, Alex, this entire conversation really highlights something important about the language learning journey. We focus so much on the big milestones, but the real magic happens in these tiny, awkward, everyday moments.
The tiny moments.
Yes. The moment you ask for a second opinion. The moment you realize shot means broken, not fired upon. The moment you confidently say, "Could you walk me through this estimate?" Those are the moments where you are actually living the language. You are not just studying it, you are using it to navigate your life and protect your wallet.
That is a really beautiful way to look at it. I usually just think of those moments as embarrassing failures. But they are actually proof that I am participating in the adult world.
Exactly. Every awkward question is a victory. Every misunderstood idiom is a lesson learned. You're building your confidence one auto shop visit at a time.
One auto shop visit at a time. I like that. I'm going to use that.
You should. Now, to wrap up our auto shop survival guide, I have to ask, did Mike ever find out if your tires needed shampoo?
Laughs. You know what, Sophia? No, he did not. But I did get my brakes fixed. I got a warranty on the parts, and I drove away safely. And I never, ever asked about the hair care routine of my car again.
That is a huge victory. You faced the grease. You navigated the vocabulary. And you succeeded.
I did. And if I ever have to go back, I know exactly what to say. Could you walk me through the estimate? And let me know what is absolutely necessary right now.
Laughs. That is the smartest thing you could possibly say. Thank you. Alex, this conversation was exactly what I needed. I feel so much more confident about the idea of going to the mechanic and not feeling like an alien in the garage.
I am so glad to hear that. Sophia, and to all our listeners out there, if you feel anxious about taking your car to the shop in English, remember this: it is okay to ask for clarification. It is okay to get a second opinion. And you never, ever need to worry about your tires going bald and needing shampoo.
And if the mechanic says your brakes are shot, just remember, they are worn out, not the victim of a crime.
Exactly. We will see you all next time. Keep your engines running. Your estimates clear. And bye. Sophia.
Bye, Alex.